Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. And this is our coming soon and news segment, where we're going to kind of break down some of the new news happening in the movie industry.
Yeah.
Just new film news, and then
stuff coming out this weekend,
and it's going to be rad, actually, hopefully. So
there's one amazing hopefully film coming out.
Yes, fingers crossed. But
I got everything crossed. Legs crossed, toes crossed, butt cheek crossed. Don't even know how that works.
And this cross guy next to me is Joel Cunningham. How's it going?
I'm all warped up. I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man.
Yeah.
Ready to talk about this.
Ready to taco about this?
Yeah. Tacos sound good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We should just get some tacos after
this. Tacos always sound good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Taco Bell tacos, not the best, but, open late, eat great.
Yes, that's true. When everything else is shut down, you got a couple options. It's either that or Filiberto's, and it just depends.
One of the Itos.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of Phoenix listeners out there that are probably aware of this, but for those that aren't, Arizona's known for their Itos.
Yeah.
It's like
Filiberto's, there's a Julio Berto's.
Julio Berto's, Juan Berto's, all these.
Is there a Berto's?
I should say Ertos, not Itos.
Ertos.
Yeah. Probably. There's probably
Bertos.
Ito Ertos or something.
Ertos. Anyways.
Yeah.
We digress.
We do.
So let's just go ahead and I guess you want to
jump right in?
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do this thing, man.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. So opening this week.
All right.
Big film.
Uh-huh.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and this is the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people actually talking to somebody the other day that was thinking that this is
the 2049th film.
Sure, like they made that many of these.
There's so many.
He thought it was just like a reboot.
There's not even that many years.
Right,
they've been making films.
He thought it was a reboot. So, and I had to clarify. Nope, this is a continuation. This is a sequel, but it is directed by Denis Villeneuve, written by Hampton Fancher and a number of other people. Primarily starring Harrison Ford, Ryan Gosling, Dave Bautista, Robin Wright, Mark Arnold, and Jared Leto.
And Ana de Armas, I will say, I think is
Armas.
I think she's like the main love interest. Robin Wright.
Yeah.
So House of Cards, lots of other stuff.
I am very much looking forward to this movie.
Yeah.
So much so that I actually need to go back and I need to watch the original just to make sure I am caught up.
Did you give the synopsis?
I did. Yeah. Wait, I did not.
You did not hear. No.
So a young Blade Runner's discovery of a long buried secret leads him to track down former Blade Runner Rick Deckard, who's been missing for 30 years. Hence the sequel.
There it is.
Because Rick Deckard, Harrison Ford's character, was in the original.
Yep.
And that's why I was saying I need to go back and watch that and just make sure I got a good grasp on the concepts, good grasp on all that stuff. I think I've seen it, but it's been too long, and I don't remember specifically liking it because I was really young and I didn't understand film.
It became an indie classic, like cult indie classic for sure, that critically favored for sure, and more of like a cult kind of classic favored film. But then over time, it's become a perennial classic of people. As the test of time, people realized how strong of an influence that film ended up being.
And I don't think it did well in the box office when it came out.
I don't know how well it did or not, but I mean, it didn't do as well as one might expect. For considered how well known and popular it's been. And I will say this, I was actually very concerned when I first heard that they were doing a sequel for this. I think one of the main reasons was Ridley Scott, for me, has been very miss for me as of the most recent iterations of films that he's taking care of.
Right.
So I was a bit concerned, but then I heard Denis Villeneuve. Villeneuve was on board for it, and I was very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Because he's done some really good filmmaking, and so so I was kind of mixed. I was excited, but also concerned, but then excited because of him. But I also think that the casting was great. I think Ryan Gosling's great and very good actor. I think it's cool they got Harrison Ford back. Robin Wright's awesome. Dave Bautista is kind of growing on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jared Leto as well has been in a few. I mean, he's never necessarily bad, but he's definitely a bit of an overactor at times.
He's a method actor.
Point to Suicide Squad,
Yep.
Plot-wise, I don't know too much about it. I've been actually trying to keep myself a bit
in the dark.
You know, and I have
seen. That's probably wise.
Yeah, and I saw the first film. I loved it. It's classic. I've seen pretty much every iteration, the original cut, the Redux, the director's cut. There's a bazillion different versions out there. I've seen them all, and I do very much enjoy it and like it. And I know that it's not for everybody necessarily.
Sure.
But I think it's cool that they're definitely going with, they're at least trying to make a similar visual style with this. They're going for very strong sort of neon lighting, very kind of rainy, cloudy, atmosphere.
Yeah.
As of yet, it hasn't felt quite the same as far as like the city level. One of the things that was so strong in the Blade Runner universe was the atmosphere that it set through the city environment itself, because he incorporated all these different ideas and themes of different cultures that were out there and made it this very hodgepodge, congested. There was inklings of, definitely Chinese type, atmosphere and characterization, but also American and culture, and very like neon kind of thing. So it was like neo-noir. It was that whole punk thing mixed with like noir, which I really liked.
Also,
yes. I keep talking about this a lot.
Cinematography by Roger Deakins.
Yes, which is an amazing thing.
It's super amazing.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop talking about it so much because we'll be talking about it after we've seen it.
Yep.
I'm planning on going to see it at least once, if not twice. I'm excited.
And Hans Zimmer. It's got some music in there.
Boom. That's how I know Hans Zimmer. But it's getting good reviews as well, for the most part. It's not 100% anymore on Rotten Tomatoes, but 8.5 out of 10 is the average rating.
95% on Rotten Tomatoes, though.
Yeah, so I am excited for that. I'm excited
about it, too. It's going to look great. We know that for sure.
Yes. So on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm 9.
9. I'm probably right about 9.
Yeah.
I might be like a 9.1, 9.2.
Hey. Getting crazy over there, Joel.
I'm sorry.
Stop.
You scared me. I thought I was in trouble. I was like,
hey.
I'm picking what I like, Matt. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Done.
Do we move on to the next one?
Let's move on to the next one. And the reason why I kind of hesitated there is because I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, I can
and
talk
I'm realizing that I just saw the trailer for this for the very first time.
I did too. And
American Made. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. So we're on the same page there.
Yep. A mountain between us.
Right, exactly.
That's what I keep thinking of. The mountain between us.
Yeah. Dave Matthews Band, right?
Exactly.
So the mountain between us. It's a new film coming out. Going to be have serious competition with Blade Runner. But the synopsis is: stranded after a tragic plane crash, two strangers must forge a connection to survive the extreme elements of a remote snow-covered mountain. When they realize help is not coming, they embark on a perilous journey across the wilderness.
Yeah.
Directed by Mani Abu Assad, and stars Idris Elba, Kate Winslet, Beau Bridges, Dermot Mulroney, Linda Sorensen, Vincent Gale, among others.
Yeah.
I don't know. The trailer that I saw made it feel like it could go a couple different ways. Like, this is going to be a true survivor's tale.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that can be really gritty along the way, and they help each other through it to get to where they want to be.
Yeah.
Or it's going to go this like cheesy love story of self-actualization, like, oh, this person really isn't the person I want to be with, or this isn't the person I want to be, so I want to just, let's be together and let's survive, and then we can be a couple.
Yeah.
If it's the first way, I might be interested in seeing it, because I really like Idris Elba. He's really, really fantastic.
Yeah, agreed.
And I want to see it potentially go that way.
Yeah.
If it goes like the more serious, like I got some, remember that old movie Alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got some of those vibes, like maybe desperate, extreme measures, hopefully to where they're not eating each other. But
I didn't get those vibes.
Right.
It really seems like these two.
I don't want it to be the cheesy love story though. I really don't want it to be that.
Yeah.
And I felt like it could have gone either way. It was kind of ambiguous to me in the trailer.
Yeah. The reason I would think it would, so the name, The Mountain Between Us, it implies this idea.
True, it is a cheesy name.
Yeah, that there's like this, metaphorical mountain between the two of them that they have to come together and overcome. So it does imply that there's probably going to be some romantic tension there, if nothing else. And I think there's even a line in the trailer when they're like sitting around a campfire and she's like, but I don't even know you. And she like says that to him. So
Man.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't want it to go that route.
I don't know, but I will say this. I'm spoiling this for you a little bit,
Okay.
Matt. I apologize.
What, have you seen it?
No, PG-13 rating.
Oh,
it
man.
says for a scene of sexuality. So that could have been a flashback, or maybe one of them gets really excited by themselves.
Yeah, man.
God forbid. But, I would think that would be between the two of them.
Maybe they're watching.
It's a scene of sexuality.
The drawing scene in Titanic,
Maybe.
where Kate Winslet is in it.
You're here.
Yeah.
Maybe they put some Dave Matthews on.
I don't know.
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
So I think it's going to go in that direction. I'm not as concerned about that, I think, necessarily. I feel like you put these two actors together, they're both attractive individuals, I think it's realistic in that sense. I know that sounds stupid, but
okay.
But
you're not convincing me otherwise.
No, it seems like a gray kind of like, I'm going to sneeze.
Hey, bless you.
Oh, thank you. There you go. I was like, I'm glad I didn't sneeze on the mic.
Yeah.
I would like to hear what that sounded like maybe, but not our listeners.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, from everything I've seen in the trailer, it seems like a pretty straightforward, like, they crash and they're, like, struggling to get out of this and they fall in love. That's kind of what it seems like to me.
Hey, you see that they had a dog survive, too?
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, there's a dog
I'm hoping that
with
dog
him.
gets eaten.
Oh, my gosh.
That's horrible.
What if
just kidding. I'm kidding. Everybody out there that's, like, dog lovers is like, how dare you?
Yeah, what if this is the prequel to Wind River?
Wind River.
And they ended up... No, that wouldn't work. Never mind.
Maybe it's a prequel for Mystic River.
Mystic River, one of the rivers.
I don't know.
Sure.
That wouldn't work necessarily.
My excitement for this movie, though, I wasn't high going into it, but 4.
Yeah, I'm at like a 3 out of 10, I think.
I gotcha.
I like Idris, but maybe not quite as much as you do. I think he's great. I think he can take on some bad projects.
Yeah.
Dark Tower is a perfect example.
I like him a lot, but he's just, he's...
Not that he's a bad actor. I think
I'm waiting for him to find his,
necessarily isn't always
mainstream. He needs to find his mainstream, thing.
Film thing.
He's in a lot of movies that are good, but, they're kind of, under the radar.
Yeah.
And, even him on Luther, I really like him, but I don't feel like that's mainstream enough.
Where is he in the Marvel? Isn't he?
Yeah, he's the gold dude.
Yeah,
I forget his name.
I forget the guy.
He's the gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper. He needs to have his own film.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe that's a prequel to this.
So
maybe this is a prequel to that. Maybe
sure.
The mountain between them is he goes to another universe or something.
Yeah, maybe it's as long as it's potentially better than the space between us.
That is true. Yeah.
So
the space
those are the two big releases coming out this week. Obviously, we're excited about one and the other one. But there are a couple of news items, and let's just go ahead and dub it. This is James Cameron week.
Okay.
And we're not going to touch his controversial statements about Wonder Woman. Dude, he just says stuff. So
he kind of, although I don't necessarily agree with anything he said,
right.
he kind of can get away with that because he's this guy. He's James Cameron. He's made...
He's
billions
notorious.
of dollars. He's literally made billions of dollars.
Right. He's notorious
with one film
for being difficult.
Yeah.
He's just notorious for being a difficult guy.
Yeah.
But the studios like him because he makes some money.
Right. He is a really tough director.
Right.
I mean, he works on production schedules for films for years.
Right.
I mean, he forced them to build the whole Titanic,
right.
literally to make it,
Yeah.
So,
He's like, let's make the Titanic. I'm like, what? And they're like, okay. Anyways, so James Cameron has just gotten greenlit. Greenlit.
For James Cameron, we'll call it Grinlet.
Greenlit.
Like the Grinch.
Greenlit, like a
like a
Grinch.
Or Gremlin,
yeah. So he has 4 Avatar movies coming out.
Yeah. They keep deciding to make more.
I know. With papyrus font.
That's so funny, that SNL skit.
Papyrus.
If you guys get a chance, search SNL Papyrus.
Yes,
it's the funniest thing.
It's pretty funny. Ryan Gosling's in it.
He nails it.
It's awesome.
I'm part of me. This is like we were talking about this in our Tube Talk episode. I like it when I get offended by things that it fails.
Yeah.
Or things don't go the way you're expecting. I'm almost hoping that the first film comes out and it just tanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They invested $100 million. More than that. They invested $200 million.
Well, so they were talking about it maybe being the first series of films that are 3D without the glasses, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Right.
I don't know how much merit there is to that anymore because I haven't heard anything since.
Right. Well, they did, I think, interview him and he said it's just an idea.
Oh, gotcha. So 4 Avatar films coming out. And I think the production schedule...
If the technology doesn't work, I hear they're going to hire actors to stage it in person, so that way it's 3D without...
Oh, gosh, that'd be terrible.
Just kidding.
You got to go to each theater, guys.
Exactly.
But they're giving him $1 billion for the production budget for these, and that's not
crazy
marketing.
Right.
So usually you double that for marketing. He's probably the only person that could get away with this. He holds the top 2 record spot for highest grossing films of all time.
Yeah.
That being Avatar and Titanic.
Yeah.
But he $250 million per. There's only been a handful of films that are like that, and usually they only get that high because of either expensive reshoots, or it's just a completely just huge budget that is unnecessary. Most recently, Batman v Superman was a $250 million production.
I'm wondering
budget.
if this is going to turn into like his Sagrada Familia. Do you know that?
I don't know, man.
Do you know what Sagrada Familia?
I have no idea.
Barcelona, Gaudi was building this very famous church called the Sagrada Familia.
Yeah.
And he spent years and years and years developing plans and putting all of it together, and then died before it was like even halfway completed.
So you think he's going to die?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like,
I guess we don't know what the
wouldn't it be
future
crazy
holds.
if he puts all these plans together and then he passes out?
Oh, that would
I'm
be
not
crazy.
wanting him to pass away.
Right.
I'm not wanting him to pass away and get eaten like a dog. You know?
That'd be terrible.
I'm just kidding. I'm just doing whatever I can to offend people out there now. That's fine. But
so, I don't know, man. It's
crazy.
That's a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot of money.
But you would agree that he's probably the only guy that could get away with like requesting and getting that approved.
Him, maybe a Spielberg, maybe if he had a big enough franchise, and maybe like a Nolan if he had a big enough. If he wanted to take on like, I don't know, pick a superhero, like he wanted to do all the Superman movies, like maybe. But yeah, I think James Cameron by far is probably the top contender for being that kind of a guy.
Sure.
Take on $1 billion film project.
Dude, I just don't see a need
I
for
would have said
four
Peter
more
Jackson,
of these
but
movies.
not anymore. Not after Hobbit.
Yeah.
I don't either. I don't know. We can talk about it.
I saw it like
outside
one
the podcast.
time, man. I started watching it a second time.
I
at
saw
home.
it twice because I saw it the first time in just regular theater, and everybody's like, "You have to go see it in 3D."
It was cool in 3D,
right? And I agree.
Yeah,
and as a visual spectacle, it was cool, but the story was like,
it's like okay.
Papyrus, man.
Yeah, Papyrus.
Well, that's how the whole film felt. It felt like Papyrus. Everything felt very like just stock. It was like, okay, this is the bad guy who's literally after the gotta have it him, and the nature versus man thing. It all just felt like Bambi versus, or not even Bambi, like Fern Gully
Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves.
And I hear that all the time, and it was good in its own right. It just wasn't. It wasn't. To me, it didn't scream, "Oh, this is the highest grossing movie of all time."
Yeah.
Like, how did that even happen? This is like one of the only movies in history where the second weekend actually made more money than its first opening weekend on wide release. Just like word of mouth. People were like, you got to go see it. And
it was the spectacle of it, is what I would say. I don't think anybody went and saw this because it
internationally, it was huge, though, too.
And that is true, too. I think the international flair of it definitely made it a big thing. Yeah. The weird thing about James Cameron is I love some of his films. I absolutely love Aliens.
Yeah.
I love Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done some amazing films, but almost in a weird way, this is another, like I said, I'm just trying to offend people today. He's like a better version of Michael Bay to me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I get
that. He knows slightly more filmmaking, and he's a little bit more beat, but he hits all of the very simple, like this beat, this beat, this beat, this beat in his films these days.
Don't get us wrong. He's a much better filmmaker than Michael Bay, but there is a sense of like when you go to see a Michael Bay movie, you're going to see these like one of them being terrible humor.
Exactly.
So when you go to see a James Cameron movie, it's going to be a straightforward plot point.
Right. Like, it's going to be spectacled. There's going to be some sort of romance, most likely, that's going to be in it, of like the two sides of the tracks, of like, can they work out their differences and come together? There'll be like a really clear, delineated bad person.
Yeah.
With a very clear mission that they have to
even
approach.
stereotypical kind of.
And the cinematography will all be like mostly wides with these very scenic, beautiful views and everything like that. King of the world.
Yeah. Anyways, so funny thing, that kind of leads us into the next news item.
Oh, does it now?
James Cameron he's been talking a lot recently, so he also brought up the fact that he's going to be, I think he said he's helming the next Terminator film.
Yay.
Linda Hamilton's returning.
Yay.
And they're going to basically be ignoring any iteration of the Terminator that happened after Terminator 2, his film.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's amazing in a sense of great.
Yeah, because there hasn't been a good one since Terminator 2.
Right. So it's going to be amazing in that sense.
Yeah.
But confusing to the general moviegoer.
Oh, for sure.
Terminator's already confusing to the general moviegoer.
Yeah.
If you've been keeping up with them.
It's funny how we're willing to give studios a shot like this.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was a kid, if a studio had legitimately, at this point they've released, Terminator 3 and then almost like a reboot. They've done like 2 attempts at reboots now. It's like this is going to be their 3rd attempt at a reboot. And it's funny how we're like with studios, we're just like, yeah, sure, have another chance at it.
Right.
We like this enough that you can have another chance.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, man.
Yeah, when I was a kid, that wouldn't have flew.
No.
You
It
failed in a sequel and that was it. You're done. So, but I don't know, man. I mean, I am excited that James Cameron's on the helm for it. I think he, like I said, he does a great job with these films. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. Maybe they'll give him $250 million for this one too.
They probably will.
Yeah, he could ask for it. He's the only person I feel like that could do it, or like you said, a Spielberg or a Nolan perhaps. But yeah, so that's really it, I guess, as far as the news is concerned. I guess is there anything else that I missed? Do you have anything else?
No, that's about it.
Nothing earth shattering.
No, nothing earth shattering at the moment.
Okay. Well, hey, real quick before we wrap up, a couple of ways. Just get connected with us on our social media, Instagram at Real Review Media, Twitter at Real Review Media, Facebook /Real Review Media, Real spelled REEL. Find our website, realreviewmedia.com. Email us, let us know what you think about these movies coming out, realreviewmedia@gmail.com. And other than that, I think that's all I got. We good?
I'm good.
We're good. Well, it's been real.
It's been real.